and welcome to, this is something I never thought I'd have the pleasure to say again, the Dexter panel for San Diego Comic-Con 2021. I am joined by Dexter Morgan himself, the man who was nominated for and won multiple awards for this role, Michael C. Hall. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
And of course, we have Clyde Phillips, who was the original showrunner of the first 4 seasons of Dexter, who is back. This is so exciting. Dreams come true. Excited to see you, Clyde. Thank you for giving us more Dexter.
Thank you, Kristen.
All right, and also Scott Reynolds and Marco Siega, who were both part of Dexter since the very beginning, on again as your executive producers, and Marcos is also directing 6 of the 10 episodes simultaneously, which we will get into. Hi, Marcos.
Hello,
Hi,
Kristen.
Scott. And a fresh face to the cast, which is very exciting to see. Someone who may or may not be smooching up on America's favorite serial killer, Julia Jones. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to dig right in with the reaction to this revival because you guys pretty much broke the internet. It was trending everywhere. The fans were freaking out, and I think a lot of the reaction was, oh my God, I never thought this was actually going to happen. It's something that the fans have been wanting and talking about for 8 years. So it feels almost too good to be true. And I would love to start off with Clyde and Michael, if you can just talk about how this came to fruition, whose idea was it, and Michael, how you felt about it, because I know you've been approached with various ideas in the past. So why you felt like this was the right time and the right storyline to go with.
As you said, it's been, because of the way the show ended, a possibility that's been up in the air for quite some time, and yeah, it's come up in different forms. It never felt quite right in terms of the story that was presented or in terms of the timing, but I think along with everybody on this panel and everybody who's ever watched the show and is a fan of the show, I've myself have also wondered what the hell happened to this guy. And I think enough time has passed and the storytelling opportunities were a lot more interesting, I think, for having had some time between the end and now. And I don't know, it's hard to point to just one thing, but I think it's certainly due in large part to the time that passed, to a sense of readiness on my part, and certainly the chance to collaborate again with Clyde and Scott and with Marcos directing. That was a huge part of what ultimately allowed me to take the leap of faith.
About once every year or so, I would see a quote from Michael. Somebody would always ask Michael, would you do another year of Dexter? And he says, well, I'm not going to say no. So then I would read that and I would call him and we'd talk it through, and we just couldn't get the right take on it that would satisfy Michael and we think satisfy the fans. And then finally, I got a call July 1st, 2019 from Gary Levine, who's the president of Showtime, saying, we think now's the time. Can you come up with something? And so I sat with my writing assistant, and then I was on Martha's Vineyard, and I flew to New York and went to Michael's apartment, which is in a beautiful landmark building in New York. And we sat and talked for a couple of hours and ended up hugging it out, and he said yes.
Well, I'm still working through my abandonment issues, Clyde, of you leaving the show after 4 seasons. I don't know, Michael, if you feel the same. But I have to say that, I think that this is actually ultimately turned out to be an amazing thing, correct? Because the way in which Dexter was left off with the series finale now has opened it up to, of course, the chance to come back, to tell the finale, to tell the end of the story in a different way, which is so exciting. It's no secret that the finale was deeply unsatisfying to a portion of the fans. How much of that led to this feeling of wanting to come back and have some redemption for the show, which was such an iconic show and frankly deserved a better ending?
It was a huge part of it. I mean,
yeah,
I think the ending was mystifying at best to people. confounding, exasperating, frustrating, on down the line of, you know, negative adjectives. I think, yeah, and I think this is a show that's always is very important to all of us, and the chance to revisit it and maybe in the process redefine the sense of the show's ending and the sense of the show's legacy more broadly was certainly a part of our motivation, no doubt.
Julia, I would love to dig into your character a little bit more, and if you could just give us sort of your take on her and what it was like for you when you were approached about the show, and your thoughts on just joining this really established, amazing series.
It's extremely exciting for so many different reasons. It's, I think, very rare that something comes up that is so beloved and has affected so many people, and people feel so passionately about it, and that in and of itself is like just extraordinary. And you kind of jump at those things because, I don't know, it just gives you an opportunity to be a part of something that's ultimately connecting people, which is a big deal. Also, I had heard just such wonderful things about everybody involved. The fact that Clyde and Scott were coming back was really exciting, and Michael and Marcos, I actually had heard great things about everybody, so that was sort of, made it even better. And then the character is just a lot. She's challenging. I think that's the biggest thing I would say about her. She's got a lot going on. She's a wonderful arc, and she's dynamic, and she has a lot to overcome. There's just so much to do and so much to play with. So it was just, like a really, really exciting opportunity.
All right, well, I would love to have Scott take us through, sort of remind us where we left off, right? Because you were there until the very end of the series. And you actually have a little insight into sort of what that ending, some significance to where Dexter ended that I didn't know before, regarding sort of the chainsaws and the fact that it was the land of serial killers. So can you just remind everybody where we left off, and then I want to jump into where we're heading in the revival.
Yeah, quick reminder, Dexter thought he was going to go run off with Hannah. He sent Hannah off with young Harrison. He had some loose ends to tie up, I guess you'd say, with a serial killer. Was going to take care of him. Gave him to Deb. Deb got, there's a lot of spoilers here. Deb got shot. Dexter then sort of wore the pain of this person that, as he says at the very beginning, like, if there's anyone that he could love, capable of love, it's Deb.
And also it's a hurricane coming.
Yeah, and there's a hurricane coming, and it kind of broke him. And so, he ends up in Oregon, which during that time when we were making the show, there were like 14, 15, according to the FBI, there were like 14, 15 actual serial killers in that sort of stretch from Canada down to like Northern California. And he went there to, a lumberjack, right? Working with lumber, but he's constantly surrounded by the sounds of chainsaws, which is very meaningful to Dexter because that's how his mother was killed. And so it was, it was ambiguous about, like, is he here to be a part of the land of serial killers, or is this the sound of chainsaws that he's surrounded by going to be the thing that keeps him abstinent? And those are the things that we answer in this new season.